Imagine being so desperate for food that you boil your leather boots and eat them. This was not legend, it was reality. In 1821, British naval officer Sir John Franklin, later immortalized as one of the great Arctic explorers, found himself starving on the frozen shores of northern Canada. 11 of his men would die. The survivors, half mad from hunger, would turn to unthinkable acts, including cannibalism. Yet what history so often forgets is this: Franklin only survived because of a man he had once dismissed as a savage. That man was a Kaicho, a leader of the Yellowknives Dean, whose knowledge of the land and extraordinary compassion saved the doomed British expedition from total annihilation. But stories like these rarely make it into the history books. If you want to uncover the indigenous voices that truly shaped history, follow Native Historian. Here, we bring you the forgotten truths behind the legends. Now, let's step back into the frozen wilderness of 1821. By the early 19th century, Britain was consumed with the race to chart the unknown Arctic. The Royal Navy saw mapping these icy frontiers as both science and empire, proving Britain's reach stretched even to the ends of the earth. In 1819, Sir John Franklin, a 43-year-old naval officer, was tasked with leading his first overland Arctic expedition. His mission: trace the uncharted coastline from the mouth of the Coppermine River eastward, producing maps for the Admiralty. But Franklin was no frontiersman. He and his officers were trained sailors, more familiar with rigging than with the brutal rhythms of the Arctic wilderness. For survival, they turned to the Yellowknives Dean, an indigenous nation whose ancestors had lived in the region for generations. Their leader was a Kaicho, a man respected for his wisdom, feared for his authority, and renowned as a provider. When Franklin unveiled his plan to press eastward late in the season, a Kaicho warned him in no uncertain terms: "You will starve. The caribou have already moved south. To continue is to invite death." But Franklin, steeped in the confidence of empire, ignored the warning. The British would proceed, trusting in their rations and their discipline. The decision would prove fatal, because in the Arctic, arrogance is paid for in blood. By the autumn of 1821, a Kaicho's